President Trump set to hold a press conference tomorrow to address crime in our nation's capital, saying, quote, D.C. has become one of the most dangerous cities anywhere in the world. It will soon be one of the safest. This comes after the attack of a DOJ staffer trying to stop teens who were attempting to carjack someone last weekend. And President Trump says he's even considering taking federal control of the city.
We have a capital that's very unsafe. We're going to do something about it. So whether you call it federalized or what, and that also includes the graffiti that you see, the papers all over the place, the roads that are in bad shape. We're going to beautify the city. And that includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly.
Former D.C. police officer Tom Very joining us now. Tom, thank you for coming on, and really no one better to sort of explain this because you've been in the city. You understand how this works, but now, and I've been a resident for decades, but now it doesn't feel safe, and these teens are really out of control. While the actual numbers, according to Mayor Bowser, are down a little bit, what do you make of the situation?
Well, it's a combination. First of all, thank you for having me on this morning. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
It's a combination of several things. First of all, you do have, Democrat elected anti-police, people that are in on the districts, council members. And, the police are overworked. They're on now 12-hour shifts with no days off and mandatory holdovers, which means if you're working a 12-hour shift and say someone's out sick or there's, a spot that needs to be filled, you're just going to be held over. So that's creating a lot of fatigue with the officers. And the other thing is they're not prosecuting the crimes the way they should, the U.S. Attorney's Office. And, they're bogged down. They're through no fault of their own. They've got a lot of federal cases that they deal with, a lot of civil cases that they deal with.
Right.
And the crimes are just not getting prosecuted. I mean, and then, of course, you've got the Youth Rehabilitation Act. And like you said, a lot of these crimes are being committed by the younger ones, 11 to 17.
Yeah,
and it's become go ahead.
Well, Tom, I just want to jump in there because I think you put your finger on something that's really important about this story, and that is they're simply not prosecuting them because while the overall crime numbers are down some, the actual carjackings are rising. That's what was being attempted when the DOJ staffer was bloodied up and beaten, trying to stop that at 3 a.m. But we also know that 51% of carjackings in D.C. are being done by people who are under 18 because they're not prosecuted. The MPD officers that I know and have talked to for years tell me they're all kinds of frustrated because they can arrest all the teens in the world, but if they're being let out, what's the point? Are you hearing the same frustration?
Absolutely. The other thing is, with the YRA, they can be up to 25 years old and, 25 and under. And the court has what they call flexibility. That's another term for, we can pretty much sweep everything under the rug and have a revolving door of justice. And I was glad to hear the president talking about taking over and taking control because it definitely needs to happen. But, kids it's become a recreational sport now, committing crimes. There's no punishment. You've had a recently re-elected city council person from Ward 8 who was arrested by the FBI and charged with bribery crimes. Now, the trial doesn't start till January, so, I'm not going to elaborate. But, if you're teaching the youth of this city that they can commit crimes, do whatever they want, right. And then, here's another role model. You can just get reelected to office, even if they're charged with a federal crime. So, the message is not getting there, and they're doing whatever they want.
We got to leave it there, Tom. But you're right. A lot of pressure on the city leaders there as President Trump steps in. We'll see what he says at that press conference tomorrow. Tom Very, thank you very much. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, bro. Here we go. About to be a motherfucking police state. It's like Trump. They got their own shit under control. Leave their shit alone, bro. Like he talking about bringing in the National Guard. See, that's all he want to do. He want to use the military as like his own personal little army, just to fuck some shit up. That shit ain't right. And then he ain't even consult the fucking mayor of DC or nothing. Alright, now this next video is from my boy Ben from the Midas touch. You know, always got to bring it back to the Midas touch. They been rocking shit. But he about to explain to y'all about why and how Trump got the nickname Taco Trump. Let's check him out.
So Donald Trump sent his real estate bro, his real estate friend, Steve Witkoff, who's like very Trumpy, bizarre dude. And Donald Trump's made this guy the envoy to Russia. This guy has no foreign policy experience, no diplomatic experience. You'll recall during Witkoff's 4 previous meetings with Putin in Russia, Witkoff used a KGB agent, one of Putin's spies, as the interpreter for Witkoff. That's a no-no. You bring your own CIA people, your own embassy people. You don't use the KGB agent as your interpreter, but Witkoff, with very little experience, that's what he did. So Witkoff met with Putin and then apparently told Donald Trump the following, that Putin had said that he was going to withdraw from Kherson and Zaporizhia, these regions in Ukraine. But it turns out what Putin said is, no, we want Kherson, we want all of Donetsk, we want Zaporizhia, we want all of this for Russia. So Putin said, this is going to be ours, we're taking it over, and we will only agree to meet with Donald Trump if Donald Trump supports a plan where Ukraine has to give Russia Ukrainian territory that's highly fortified that Russia has not been able to take over in the war thus far. I just want you to think about that. And now what the Trump regime is saying is, oh, we got the translation wrong. And it was really the European allies, former allies of the United States, now part of the coalition of the willing, the real leaders of democracy right now is in Europe. They met with Zelensky and they called and they put Witkoff on the spot. They had 3 separate calls yesterday with Witkoff and Trump. And they were like, dude, what the hell is going on, Witkoff? What happened at that meeting? And the first call, Witkoff said, oh, well, Putin told me that he was going to give all of this land to Ukraine and that we would have a ceasefire. And Putin said that we're good. And so then the European allies back-channeled a little bit, called Witkoff again. They go, that's not what we heard, Witkoff. Tell us the truth. What happened with Putin? Witkoff gets a little bit shady again. The European allies and Zelensky have a third phone call as well. And also, they were pushing and pressing J.D. Vance at the Chevening House there as well. They were pushing him and saying, dude, what the hell had happened? What went down? And then Witkoff finally admits, oopsies, Witkoff says, I think I may have got this wrong. It seems that what Putin probably told me is that he wants Ukraine to give up all of its land, and then maybe Putin would consider a ceasefire, maybe after Ukraine gave all of the land that Putin couldn't take over. To me, this meme sums it all up right here. As Sean Penner says, a weak man. Never thought I'd ever say this about any United States president. Donald Trump says, you have my word, I'll stop the war in 24 hours. I'll stop it in 2 weeks. I'll stop it in 10 days. I'll stop it in 50 days. I'll stop it on August 8th. Actually, I need a few weeks.
Man, I don't see how people still fall for his shit. Like, you seen the meme, fucking 2 weeks. I'll deal with him in 50 days, in 2 weeks. This man, I'm talking about Taco Trump to the fullest. You hear me? And that's crazy. But yeah, that's it for today, man. This your boy Reggie Red, and this is Reggie Red's Reactions. You hear me? So like, comment, share with your friends. Till next time, I'm out of here. Peace.